well? All the best. All the best, bro. Here for you.
He is Mchana
from South Sudan, okay? Who is Peter Chombe? You?
Who is that in this
This
guy?
is my brother, bro.
Joseph. Nice to meet you, my friend.
Welcome. I say thank you. We always watch them.
I have a friend called Emma Cho. You know him? Who? Emma Cho is a football player in Uganda. He promised me he'll bring me there. He'll bring me to Juba.
You guys come to Juba, bro. Come to Juba, bro. We are here for South Sudan.
I've been there.
Sometime back, right? Or you just go another business?
My hand.
So you go sometime. The whole country is for you. The whole country is supporting you. I wish you well. It's a good job. I'm going to support you here. I actually came at 4. We were disappointed when there were nobody here at 6:30. We thought the match was postponed. You and this gentleman, you always watch your games live. So many times. Hey, how many times you give them? See, how many games have you guys played together?
There are so many.
I don't remember.
There are many, right? So we were talking about which page of this. I want to share this with some of my friends.
A YouTube channel program, Facebook, Break and Fish.
Okay. First, yeah. The one we normally watch, Break and Fish.
Microphone check.
Trying to watch your game with
Microphone check.
We were trying to watch your game with 2 cousins, but it was not all right.
Testing sound.
Everything happened from it was not live.
Sound check. A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the stream. And of all the matches that I've streamed ever since my advent into Kenya, which is just about 32 days ago, without a shadow of a doubt, this one is the biggest of them all in terms of the stature, character, achievements of players involved, and of course, in terms of the pots. Please give me a thumbs up if you can hear the audio and have a clear video signal. We are live already. We are done with the movement. Now there mayn't be any two of the best African players that face off as often as these two, because yes, they take on each other so many times, and every time they take on each other, they give one another a very story time. All the way from Durban in South Africa, donning black with the black cap, the bigger guy is called Jeremiah Naido. On in the town that is called Umlaze near Durban. He's the best player that Durban has got to offer, also one of the very best that South Africa has gotten to offer. He has Indian blood in him, Jeremiah Naido, but proudly South African, and has represented South Africa in so many events, in black ball, in hay ball, in nine ball, and as well champion in all of them. A two-time under 20 champion of South Africa, also a two-time national champion of South Africa in black ball. Jeremiah Naido also won the South African Nationals and won the car competition, I think, in the year that was 2016. He has been around the place playing international pole, of course, in South Africa, throughout the SADC region, in Zambia, in Zimbabwe, in Eswatini, in Malawi. No, he's not played in Malawi. He's been to Tanzania, he's been to Kenya, he's been to Uganda a number of times. He has been to as far as China, participating in competitions outside blackboard. Taking on Caesar, who nowadays is definitely a little bit more traveled, has also been around Uganda, his own country, has also been around Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe, up to as far as China, where he was just over a month ago. He has also been to the United Kingdom now twice in the space of the last year, participating in international competition, especially including many matches against some of the finest players that the world has gotten to offer. Now, these two are guys that have taken on each other a number of times, and results a little balance between themselves. For those that I can remember, matches involving Caesar and Jerry, many matches maybe, and a few tournaments combined. I do remember the match between the two that was organized at Queen Sports Club in Bulawayo in 2023, a money match for $1,000. Racing to 15 was won by 15 frames to 11 by Jerry. But in the tournament itself, tournament was won by Caesar, and he defeated Jerry in the final to lift that 2023 edition, which was a double elimination competition. But Caesar did not lose any of his lives. Then Jerry toured Tanzania in 2024, quite early in the year. Caesar followed him there. The two guys played two money matches there. One money match was won by Jerry, another money match was won by Caesar. As for Jerry, a race to 21 for $2,000, that was won by 21 frames to 20. The following day they faced off for $2,500, and Caesar won by 25 frames to 18. The two did have two money matches in Uganda when Jerry made a tour of Uganda in Caesar's home country. A race to 21, which up to now, which by then had the record for the most watched match ever in the history of the African continent. It had 6.6k views on the Break and Finish Live Facebook page. The match saw Jerry win the last 4 frames to win the match by 21 frames to 20. It was a Friday evening, and thereafter on Monday evening, the two decided to rematch, this time for $4,000. They played at a venue that's called Tickles and Giggles in Kampala. Racing to 25 frames to 10, the match was won by Caesar. The first time that Caesar ever toured South Africa, it make a realistic tour, was in 2024. He played 2 matches against Jerry. Both matches, money matches that is, were won by Jerry. The following year, that was 2025, just last year, Caesar went back to South Africa, played a money match that had a number of uppers in Durban in South Africa. The match was won by Jerry bigly, I think by 21 frames to 12, perhaps 21 frames to 10. I want to beg your pardon. And the match was won by Jerry. Now, a few other tournaments in which the two did face off last year at Billiards Cafe in Lusaka. the Billiards Cafe Classic annual competition that is being played on double life basis. The two faced off in the round of last 16 in one of their lives, won by Jerry, a race to 9 that he won by 9 frames to 7. They then got to face off in the grand final when Jerry as well lost another life. The two did have one life after Caesar defeating Sakala in the semi-finals and Jerry defeating Kelvin in the other semi-final. The two faced off in the grand final that was won by Caesar. The very last time that the two guys faced off was just early this year. Those that were watching the African Championships organized by the AAPA in Durban, South Africa, Jerry's home country. Tournament that was won by South Africa in the teams category and by the South African player that is called Sean Mattis. There was a 4-man comp the day after the All Africa Pool Championships were done. It was Jerry, Caesar, Aiden and Kelvin. Just 4 people racing to 21 in the semis and finals for 80,000 South African rands. I remember the semi-finals where Caesar was defeated by Jerry for Jerry to take the victory, and then the final where Jerry defeated Aiden after Aiden had defeated Kelvin in the other final. Of course, Jerry was victor. And 2 days later, there was a money match between the two, Caesar Chandiga and Jeremiah Naido, for $4,000 US, racing to 21. The match was won by Jerry. Now, while Caesar has somehow proved to be one of the more successful players on the African continent in the space of the last 5 years, if you are looking at the only player that has better head-to-head performance statistics than him, it is this guy donning the black shirt and the black cap, Jeremiah Naito. He also defeated Caesar in some unofficial competition, by the way, last year in Arusha in Tanzania. It was under the carpets with no live stream, but a match as well that was won by Jerry. This match will be very well watched, with just over a 5th frame being played, and yet we have close to 3,000 people watching combined on Facebook and YouTube. We stand a chance today to break the record for the most watched match ever in the history of African pool. The streaming platforms, Facebook, Key Pixels Photography, as well as Break and Finish Live, YouTube, Mchana Pool Club. So far, all streams are having the same exact commentary. 2-2 between the players, all the way from Uganda, Caesar, and all the way from South Africa, Jerry, racing to 21 for $4,000 US, live from China Pub and Grill in Nairobi. Now for Jerry, this one will be the very last bit of action he will be having on the tour. His initial reason for coming was to rematch with Eshka, match that was won by Jerry. He also participated in a 64-man comp that was won by the Ugandan, that is Ian. Jerry lost in the second round to the Ugandan youngster Jackson Asiku. He then had later that night a money match against Kelvin, racing to 21 for $3,000 US. The match was won by Jerry. Today he's having a match against Caesar, courtesy of the management teams of both of the players. That is for Caesar, the Advanced Talent Agency, and for Jerry, big kills that have each staked half of the $5,000 US, that is $2,500 each, for the consequence of loss or defeat, racing to 21 between the two. Welcome to the stream. My name is Simon Peter Chobe, all the way from Kampala, now in Nairobi, presenting to you live action at Mchana Pub and Grill. There comes Caesar coming out of the angle, potting the snookered red. He has full sight of the black. Of course, potting it in a straight shot is not a possibility. The realistic chance is to play the black off the cushion top into the corner pocket bottom right. He knows if he misses, there is a good chance Jerry could finish them 7 balls and maybe the black. That's why for Caesar the bank must be on. Has to be careful. In a poor stroke, he could foul. He may go defensive here. I'm not even certain. There he is. There comes the black. Just narrowly misses. Cue ball is so thin for Jerry. Even Jerry being Jerry, you'll get a feeling should he find a ball to pot somehow, he could be taking down the frame. In my book, in my opinion, there is no player on the African continent with better ability to play a ball on target than this guy from Durban, and he does so at breathtaking speed. Many times playing with power. He is also the fastest player I have ever seen. In fact, he has at least what is on record, the fastest frame ever won by break and finish. It was in the ATA Africa Super 16-man comp right here in Nairobi in 2024 at the end of the year, in the round of last 8, when he was taking on Caesar. He broke and finished a frame for 33 seconds. Before then, he had as well the fastest apple, which was by 37 seconds, which he played, which he broke and finished while playing against Victor Senyenza at Queen Sports Club in Bulawayo in 2024. That was earlier in there. So, regarding who is the fastest player on the African continent, no shade of a doubt who it is. It is Jerry. And asking about any player was better head-to-head performance statistics, most especially in money matches, than Caesar, it is still this guy. However, for the last 2 years, Caesar has achieved a lot more than any other African player. In fact, for Jerry, for the last 2 years, all that he can write home about in terms of a major tournament one was the Super 16-man comp that was organized right here in Nairobi last year in the month that was August. Who did he defeat in the final? It was Caesar, but that was a double life competition. And who did Caesar last defeat to reach that final? It was Jerry. Just that the rules of the tournament were that when it comes to the final, it was straight knockout, single elimination. But before the final, Jerry had already lost in the competition and Caesar was unbeaten. And yet Caesar had beaten Jerry on his way to reaching the final. The rules that were explained to the players before the start of play were that when it comes to the final, it will just be one match. That was won by Jerry, and it is the last comp he won up to today. The very last one where he reached the final and lost was Billiards Cafe in Lusaka, that double life tournament that normally happens once every year. It was won by Caesar. He defeated Jerry in the final. Other comps that have been won by Jerry include Queens 2022, the Eswatini Pool Festival 2023, a multitude of South African championships amongst others. Now he has to bank yellow off the cushion top into the side pocket bottom, and as he does, he puts them 7 balls with 1 visit off the table, and he's now on the verge of taking the lead. It is Jeremiah Naido 3 and Caesar Chandigarh 2, rest to 21 for $5,000 US. Now there is another match that is on the verge of kicking off at the venue between Tanzania's Innocent Sami and Joseph Kasozi. Because of the nature of the venue, I have not been able to do a double live stream. Where that match is the loud music zone on this Saturday evening. It is just too risky to stream it without giving it attention. Of course, attention had to be given to this one. Jerry will be flying out of Kenya tomorrow. Caesar's return tickets to Kampala is on Wednesday. Caesar is still around. Still has two other money matches facing Kelvin tomorrow and Dula on Monday. There is a chance action between Jerry and Dula for the money. Between Caesar and Dula for the big games could be the last in this Kenya tour, but you never know. Chairman may surprise us with yet another 16-man comp. You never know, but that one may not include the likes of Jerry and then the likes of Ibra, who have already shown signs of exiting Kenya tomorrow. Many other Tanzanians and Kenyans are still around, but there have been so many departures already. Jackson Asiku, Herbert Mokisa, Stanford Griven are out of Kenya, as well as the first lady that was taking on the mightiest of Kenyan players, Julie, now having settled back home. There is another lady, Michelle, that is now having a money match against G in the town that is called Kasarani near Nairobi. We'll be giving you updates on whatever is happening on other tables. For now, we are seeing Caesar attempting to win the frame. He needs a combination shot. Play both red and yellow, with yellow being played into red, put both of them to the same corner pocket bottom. It's top right. The combination is in. The move manipulation of the cue ball is even better. The Scorpion in business on the verge of equalizing in the 5K money match. Caesar versus the Black. It's a win. 3 for Caesar, 3 for Jerry, raised to 21. Someone on the Facebook stream, Dem Tafam, is asking how about Ishmael. Well, Ishmael was actually meant to have played an initial match today against Dula, but Dula said he would play another day. Oops. At the venue, I'm seeing a special person whom I normally see on social media, and the Honorable Babu Owino. Whoever follows Kenyan stuff on the internet, you may know a thing about him. When I get a chance, I'll take to him the microphone. That I promise you. And I've already spoken to someone here to inform Honorable Babu Owino that I would wish to take to him the microphone. 3-3 between Jerry and Caesar. This one is the 7th frame out of a total of 21 that will be played tonight. Here comes the bulldozer, as he's called by nickname. Ganda Ganda is Zulu lingua. It means a bulldozer. He does look like a real bulldozer. He pots balls like he is bulldozing them. He has two reds close to each other, almost touching each other. Near the center pocket bottom, we'll want to put one of them, then draw the cue ball a little upwards, just like that. The frame is now pretty finishable. Africa's potting machine has a chance of finishing a frame which could see him take the lead in the match. Potting red, which is bottomers, cue ball bounces off the cushion, played into a yellow. That one was not his intention, but has sight of yet another red, the one that is close to the side pocket bottom. He'll hit it big, draws the cue ball into the yellow, with the last red on the table having a passage into the corner pocket at the top left end of the table, with the cue ball being drawn slightly backwards. The rest is a formality. 7 frames played. Caesar Chandiga 3, Jeremiah Naido now 4. Raised to 21 for $5,000 US. Someone help me count the number of apples we will be witnessing in this one. We may lose count. The highest number of apples from one player that I think I've watched in one match should be Jerry versus Caesar in Durban last year. Because of the 21 frames Jerry won from one player, about 12 were apples, but maybe on this very table Ishmael at least equaled that match about 10 days ago against Dog City. That match that ended by 21 frames to 19 with Ishmael winning. There were 21 apples in that match, green and red combined, with Ishmael getting 11 and Dog City getting 10, all apples red and green respectively. And there was another match between Caesar and Mansour in Kampala that had 18 apples in it, with Caesar getting 10 apples and Mansour 18, when Mansour was head started with +6 and still got beat. And it could rain apples here. And these ones will be more special because the pool table on which the action is being played is too standard. It is an optimal blackboard table, pretty much the same table where I watch the European Ultimate Pool Championships, especially with Caesar having come back just days ago from the Ultimate Pool Championships in Bolton in the United Kingdom, and that very, very special match where he lost against the Welsh star Tom Cousins, but with a very huge lead. But just having many matches against those guys, in my opinion, is some kind of victory. Of course, lessons learned and the importance of the break and things like that, because those guys, when they visit the table, when they break and finish, they just don't let you have a turn on the table, just like Caesar could in this one. But not, there has been a very big miss by Caesar, a very big chance for Jerry to win the frame and take a 2-frame lead in the match for the first time. He has a red close to the black, which he pots, and now, oops, he has not potted for once. Jerry has played with no intention to pot. As for Caesar, the chance for recovery is play cue ball off the bottom cushion into the yellow with intent to pot, but he did not pot.
Scissors yellow is parked at the corner pocket top left where Jerry has a red. Of course, Jerry's frame now becomes tricky, but as well winnable because playing safety is quite easy. Here comes Jerry, wanting maybe to play the red in front of the yellow. I don't know. I don't think that will be the best choice because he has a lot more that he can think of. Plays the cue ball now into. That one was so close to a foul. The guy now may want to take the frame away. There is a foul, an unfortunate foul, because he played very successful combination playing and potting his own red, played the cue ball into Scissors yellow, got to pot it, but the cue ball followed the yellow into the pocket. Now Scissor will be playing to pot one red for a free shot. He may want to pot both red and black to the same corner pocket, and surely he will. The pot of the black by the Ugandan Scorpion is a formality, and after 8 frames played, Chandega Scissor 4 and Jeremiah Naido 4 in a race to 21 for $5,000 US. Someone please keep record of the number of apples. It could become a little bit unbecoming of how many apples will be eaten in this match. The bulldozer eats yet another. 5 frames for South Africa and 4 for Uganda in a race to 21 for $5,000 US. Our umpire is Mr. Joseph Mogesha, a renowned pool player, a member of the Mchana Gladiators pool team, also the chief umpire here at Mchana. Also played pool at the top level, played for the Kenya national team, I think from 2011 up to around 2017. Just around since then, he is still active, but not As competitive as he used to be, he's also an umpire with the Kenya Football Federation. He does officiate, sorry, he's a referee with the Kenya Football Federation. He does officiate matches in the Kenyan Premier League. So we have an umpire of the game who is also a referee of another sport in the big one, with Caesar having broken dry, with Jerry going for a red apple. And a Polo Club and Facebook, keep pixels photography, as well as break and finish live. And feel free to watch from a platform of your preference. A chance, call it half a chance. What Jerry needs is try and portable and another. All he has in his mind is how to finish the frame. That is how he plays. It is how he wins. It is how he loses. I have to confess, most of the times he wins. And he's come into the match as the better form player, most especially after results of games that have been happening in South Africa. He has defeated Aiden in 2 money matches. Maybe it is half the reason as why Aiden is not here. Maybe he didn't want to face the same guy in a different country. After all, they can always face off in South Africa. He also, the last 2 tournaments that he played in, actually the last 3, he won 2 and lost 1. The one that he lost, he was a losing finalist. He defeated Kelvin in a 64-man comp that was organized at Hot Shots in Tongat near Durban. Then he lost to the same Kelvin in another 64-man comp 2 days later. And then he won a 4-man comp 1 week later at the same event. That was at the same venue. That was after the All Africa Pool Championships. He may get himself snookered here. Jerry seems to be snookered at least partially. Can only find red off the top cushion. There's also a chance he could play the cue ball into yellow before finding the red near the center pocket top of the cushion. Again, finds red, but doesn't pot. This is a big advantage now, Caesar, in a match that is having frames being shared almost equally between the players. And one thing I like is the trilogy between Aiden and Caesar and Jerry. It is so funny that most of the times Caesar has taken on Aiden, it has been Caesar winning for most of the times. Most of the times Jerry has taken on Caesar. Many of the times it has been Jerry winning. And yet, many of the times that Jerry has taken on Aiden, it has been Aiden victorious. As though they are just exchanging money amongst each other, almost equitably. It could be Caesar who will be having his pattern to bail him out. Of the 2 players, Jerry, in my opinion, is the better porter, the better shooter. Caesar has a more superior pattern of play. It is the pattern that has got him to win a number of tournaments, especially including 4 big ones at the end of the year that was concluded last. That is the Q Masters International Carnival in Arusha, the Billiards Cafe Classic Competition, the PPT, the Patriarchs Pool Tournament in Harare, and the Uganda National Open Championships that all had thousands of dollars to win, plus a brand new car. But he's had a brand new miss of a frame that is coming now as a gift to the Bulldozer. And after 10 frames lead, the South African is taking a 2-frame lead for the very first time in the match. Jeremiah Naido 6, Chandiga Caesar 4, in a race to 21 for $5,000 US. In a maximum of just about 2 hours, I believe we shall have this match played to completion. That is at the very maximum. Less than 3 hours in total are enough for this business to get done. The business of 5,000 US dollars. It's one of the big money matches that are happening on African soil. Between an African and another, they don't come this bigger. And very special thanks to the management teams of both of the players. As for Jerry, Big Kells, his new management team, his manager is watching this match. After this, he will be flying out of Kenya to go back to Nigeria. And it will be a successful tour for him if Jerry wins, because there have been other wins, other reasons to call the tour a success. A newly formed Big Hills team that came second in the team event. As Caesar misses again, then the victory for Ian Kazibe in the singles, and 2 money match victories for Jerry so far. If this one becomes the third win for Jerry, it will be victory generally for Big Hills. And then special thanks to Caesar's management team, the Advanced Talent Agency, that are with the Scorpion now, I think, into the 3rd year, moving him around the world, most especially participating in the Ultimate Pool Championships for the 2nd time, and the first for any player from his country, perhaps region. And the belief they have in the Scorpion, despite the very clear bad form, so many misses so far in this match. And one thing that Jerry does so well is punish opponents for misses. He's laughing at himself, Jerry, especially after denying himself cue ball. Will he pot? Will he cut the yellow sharp? Yes, he does. How good will the cue ball be? Could the black play it? Out of position? No, maybe a little bit of fortune there. And after being fortunate, Jerry plays himself back into full control of the frame. Now having to put the last yellow, cue ball off to cushions, 1, 2, and a clear straight line between white and black and center pocket at the top, as Jerry takes a free 3-frame lead now. It is 7 for Jerry and 4 for Caesar after 11 frames, racing to 21 for $5,000. And here comes the Scorpion once again, breaking and making a ball. The cue ball almost went in. A sigh of relief that white is not in. Of course, the yellows are better positioned and the easier portable balls of the 2 colors. And of course, Caesar will want to win the frame with an apple. A green one for what I think will be the 2nd time in the match. He also has a red in there, in a match where he is so far being outpotted by his opponent. They faced off in a race in 2 races to 21 in a space of 3 days in the month that was February this very year at Hot Shots in Tongat in South Africa. Both races were won by deciders by Jerry. Caesar has a chance to respond here, with the 12th frame being played with him on the yellows, with the yellows finishable. I believe that the 2 yellows at the left side of the right side of the table will be played first. Then the 2 yellows at the right side of the table will be played last, with the Scorpion now having to put yellow to the corner pocket top right, then playing the cue ball to the left end of the table. A little too close to the pocket, but the Scorpion will be okay. He wants to put both yellows to the same corner pocket at the bottom left. The black may be to the side pocket bottom or the corner pocket bottom right. either will do depending on how well he plays the cue ball. He may as well contemplate something of a bank shot. He could get saves. Look at, my God. That is unbelievable, most especially for top players of this level. The least that can be forgivable is to have sight of the black. And it is going to be maybe the easiest frame that Caesar will be giving away to Jerry, most especially a chance being given so big by himself to win by break and finish. Now the chance being given to Jerry to steal the frame away, and what will be an effort by the South African to take a 4-frame lead for the very first time in the match. He will have maybe the black as some kind of reason to worry, but he misses the ball, he misses the red. In a frame that is having misses from either players, Caesar has the chance maybe to take what belonged to Caesar in the very first time. Anyway, having to roll the black right against the cushion to the corner pocket to play to the screen in what will be the Scorpion winning a fifth. Black seems slightly off, and he leaves some space between the black and the jaw of the corner pocket where the black is for Jerry to pass his red. As he passes the red, as the keyboard bounces off the cushion and moves slightly backwards, he can put yet another red to the corresponding corner pocket at the bottom left. Now putting it while drawing the keyboard backwards off the cushion, moving in a beautiful spot to put the red that is in space of the two to the corner pocket bottom right. All he has to do is to put the ball with all the ease and then move the cue ball to the same exact spot where he would still have placed it if he were to place it by plain hand. Jerry wins again, dear viewers. And the Bulldozer leads against the Scorpion by 8 frames to 4. Now in terms of matches in Kenya, speaking of money matches, I doubt that Caesar has ever lost any. When he played for the first time against Aiden in Kampala, with Aiden winning, Caesar then played against Aiden right at this venue, same table. About a week later, the match was won by Caesar in a decider by 21 frames to 20. As Jerry fouls this time around, Caesar also won a second match against Aiden right here in Kenya, same venue, same table. The following year, that was 2023. It was actually 2024 after the Grand Mchana. The match was won by Caesar again in a decider by 21 frames to 20. In the same country, Kenya, in a city that is a few hundreds of kilometers away, Eldoret, after the Simbakso International Carnival, Caesar played a money match against Aiden, racing to 21 for $2,000, and the match was won by Caesar by 21 frames to 12. That was such a humiliation. Those are the 3 money matches he has played in Kenya. Others were when he was starting Kenyan players about 2 years ago, and all of them played here and were all won by Caesar. Of course, he's starting off slower than his opponent, and he's supposed to be the home player. Mchana is pretty much his venue. He's a member of the Mchana family. And the reason for all of the silence is the fact that one of their own is so far being humiliated at somehow their own expense. But for frame number 13, the Scorpion is coming good, pretty much playing like Caesar normally does. He's putting black, punishing Jerry just like Jerry has been punishing him prior. It is Caesar now 5 and Jerry 8 in a race to 21 for $5,000. and Caesar did arrive into Kenya at 1:30 p.m. yesterday. Jerry has been resident here for 8 days now. We are having, at the request of Jerry, a 3-minute timeout for the very first time in the match. The streams shall remain on, but commentary shall be resuming with the resumption of the match. Timeout. Caesar 5, Jerry 8, race to 21. And right on timing, dear viewers, the Scorpion breaks and finishes to record a 6th for him. Out of 14, it is now 8 frames to 6. And by the playing speed of these guys, I will not be surprised if they race to 21 without asking for any more timeout. And once again, dear viewers, we have live streaming from 2 platforms, that is Mchana Pool Club YouTube as well as Break and Finish Live Facebook, with the South African bulldozer Jerry breaking frame number 15, having lost 2 frames in a row to his opponent for the very first time in the match. Maybe Caesar has gained his opponent, maybe he has said a prayer, maybe he has gotten a few words of encouragement from someone he believes in. Sometimes that is what these players do. Maybe some encouragement from the manager, some encouragement from someone they believe in. Could be the spouse, could be the mom, could be a friend, could be a coach, could be someone like that. Just to hear the words of them telling them you can do it. Now the 15th frames is the South African breaking dry. Caesar wanting to play red into yellow, pot yellow, and close the table thereby, which he does, and plays the yellow, plays another yellow off the cushion and into another cushion. Also plays Jerry's red close to the cushion. The easiest portable ball is the yellow close to the bottom, to that center pocket. Another yellow close to the cushion a little rightwards. It can be finishable this frame, but it will not be easy, even if the person that is playing is not easy either. And this I can tell you for certain, that Caesar is likely not to head start Ishmael with +5, for the reason that last time he wanted it because he was looking for game time, having come from the World Heibo Championships, coming from Heibo, and yet he had a tour of UK participating in the European Ultimate Pool Championships as well as a money match against Tom Cousins. That is why he was so hungry for game time, which is not the same exact case. He just wants fair competition. So for now, head starting Ishmael with +5 is out of the question, unless Ishmael accepts to play without any condition, as much as Caesar is winning yet another frame without any condition, having to put now the last yellow on the table right against the rail to the cushion, bottom right, then black to the corresponding pocket, top right, as the Scorpion is recording a 2nd consecutive frame ever since the return of action from timing. All that Jerry has done is back 1 frame, but both frames have been won by Caesar, potting 16 balls without dropping a shot, and now coming within 1 frame of Jerry. After 15 frames, it is Caesar 7 and Jerry 8 in rest 21. Here comes another chance from yet another break, which if Caesar wins, will be having equal scores for the very first time since the start of the match. Just as a matter of information, the last time the scores were level was when it was 0-0 before a single frame was played. Here comes the Scorpion with a chance to finish a frame, which will be an equalizer that would have come only after 16 frames played, and yet just about the last 20 minutes or so, including the timeout, he was 4 frames down. And once again, you are watching one of the biggest matches that you can ever have in African pool.
Check inside. It has. It's not going in. Really try to spread.
It is a race to 10-1 between the Ugandan donning all blacks, is a Chandiga, and the South African donning black with a black cap, the big guy, Jeremiah Naito, for the consequence of loss of $5,000 staked by either management teams for Caesar, the ATA for Jerry, Big Hills. It is 8 frames to 7. Jerry still leading, but was leading by 4 frames. And then Caesar won 3 straight, 1-1, and then went for timeout, and 1-2, both with 1 visit of the table. He could be winning a 3rd frame in a row with 1 visit of the table, but a 4th frame he will be winning overall. Yellow to the corner pocket bottom left, and yellow to the side pocket on the right, and the pot of the black to the corner pocket top left for the Scorpion to record upon number 3, all in a row from the same player on the same table to equalize in the match. After 16 frames, Chandiga Caesar 8 and Jeremiah Naido 8. The next program on the international calendar, if I'm to think out, should be towards the end of next month. I think the 21st up to the 23rd of May 2025 at Queen Sports Club. The Queen Sports Club annual double elimination competition that is happening in Bulawayo. And both of these players have won it, by the way. They won the first 2 editions, the 2022 edition won by Jerry, 2023 won by Caesar. Prior to that, there will be the African Heibo Championships that will be as well happening in Zimbabwe a week later, organized by the All Africa Polo Station on behalf of the World Heibo Pool Federation that is coming up in Zimbabwe. Players can register only through their respective federations and associations, and only member countries can participate. There is very good cash prizes for the players that will be reaching that far. Sponsored by Joy. Now there will be now no Joy for Jerry, because it looked like he started having cruise control of this match until he lost 4 frames in a row, until he finds himself having level scores against his opponent. For once, Jerry plays with intention not to pot. Of course, the frame was not going to be finished with any kind of ease. Caesar will be having 2 dead reds, the ones that are in a pile-up of 4 yellows at the left end of the table. The other reds are just a little fine. Critical frame, this one for Caesar. Critical frame, it is for Jerry. The winner will be taking the lead. Could be a foul here. As long as the cue ball doesn't reach the cushion, it looks like a foul. As we await the call from the umpire, Joseph Mokisha, who calls a foul. With Jerry having the cue ball in hand, perhaps going for the lead of the match yet again. As for a free shot, Jerry plays perhaps his yellows into space. Here does come the bulldozer. He comes into this match as the form player. Not so many times does that happen. Caesar is normally a very, very consistent guy. It's just that for whatever reason, he's not having the start of the year that is 2026 as good as he ended the year that is 2025. He was oozing with all quality, winning everything that there was to win, most especially the month of December 2025, the best month in his entire career. Perhaps Jerry on the verge of taking the lead, as he will be potting yellow to the center pocket bottom and drawing the cue ball slightly backwards. A slight backspin will do, as slight as that. He can play now the remaining yellow by cushion drive off the red at the corner pocket top right. He goes direct and still pots and cold pot black to the side pocket bottom or corner pocket bottom left. Either will do. He's going for the side pocket. Africa's potting machine gains the lead in the match again after 17 frames of play. It is now Jeremiah Naido 9 and Caesar Chandiga 8. And guys, please tell me where you're watching from, just so that we can know how far this stream is going. Comment section, Channel Pool Club, Break and Fish Live. Please tell me where you are watching this beautiful match from. As frame number 19 starts off as a scratch on the break by Caesar. Chance for Jerry to regain a 2-frame lead yet again in the match. Mr. Faceoff, it's boiling nicely. You say, where are you watching from, my guy? Brian Colgate supporting Caesar on the YouTube stream. Where are you watching from, please? Myself Fiso, watching from Eswatini. Thank you for watching. Dahaf Kokli from Entebbe in Uganda. Arnold from Botswana. Sesanga Moses is from the Middle East. I don't know whether there is a country called that. Oriem John Bosco supporting Lira, of course supporting Caesar, who has his mother coming from that side of the world. Great joy. Thank you for watching from Zimbabwe, and from Fort Portal in Uganda, PM 1651. Thank you for watching, and from Namibia, thank you for watching. Johans Nambonga and Dan Kim Kung watching from Westland in Nairobi. You can as well come to the venue, but you can only watch on television because where the table is, it's full to capacity. Geoffrey Komakachi from Gulu in Uganda. And Victor from Nigeria, thank you for watching. Alec Koemba from River watching, thank you for watching. And Simon Zoa from South Africa. Justice Malingwa from Jivas in Zimbabwe. And Malebi Donald from Botswana. Cliff Boy from Zimbabwe. Williams Mayer, thank you for watching. And Wakis from Wakiso, Peter Maweje as well, thank you for watching. And a few that are watching from the Facebook stream, thank you for watching. Parrot Chimbwanda must be watching from, of course, Zimbabwe, because you're Chimbwanda. Bevan Tungwara as well from Zimbabwe. Master Tekiso from Lichtenberg in South Africa. Zothani Luvo Gwambe from Kimberley in South Africa. Daniel Nash from Tongat, the home of hot shots. Well, thank you for watching. Of course, you are supporting Jerry, who is the best player from that area. Grant Douglas from South Africa, Sunward Park, Boxburg. Thank you for watching. And Elton, you say I'm your son. Here again, you're shouting to Caesarman. Thank you for watching. Ray Sticks Drama from Zambia. Thank you for watching. Colin Madondo from South Africa. Mondi Zuma from South Africa as well. Tulani Mazia from Eswatini supporting Caesar. Patrick Makonese from the United Kingdom. Thank you for watching from Break and Finish Live Facebook. Ray Kaitese from South Africa. Udede Buti Makuba supporting Jerry all the way from Free State in Harrismith in South Africa. Osborne Tigashu from South Africa as well. Musa Givinji watching from Portland, Oregon. Ush, I thought you were watching from Kenya because you are Givinji. Francis Wanyama watching from Gulu in Uganda. Peter Tukuzela from Pretoria, South Africa. Masungolo Novella, you from South Africa supporting Ganda. Tapiwa Nashe Nyaku watching from Venezuela. Thank you for watching. Mo Ligase from Isingiro district in Uganda. Welcome to stream. Samuel Shekeshe from South Africa. Mohan from Pete Lesolalo from South Africa, and Liam Kashisi, you say I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Much love from Zimbabwe. Spatro Meka Daniel from Nigeria, thank you for watching. Just as is Pumla, is it's Money from Lebile, and Joseph from Canada, thank you for watching. Marvin Mahere from Chauno Ziva Spalo. Isaac Zimba from Lusaka. Elton, you are watching with your 3-year-old son and he's shouting against Caesarman. Oh, thanks for watching, Elton, who as well sent me a video last week when your son was shouting Caesar's name when he was playing in the Ultimate Pool Championships in the United Kingdom. Shepherd Farai from Zimbabwe. Trimo Mofanichia. You're like Jerry. Devi Williams from Malawi. Namanya Commission Chef supporting the Scorpion, and Arnold Mlambo from Zimbabwe. Zokisi from South Africa supporting Jerry. Siabonga Zikalala from Cape Town in South Africa, of course, supporting Jerry. Maloya from South Africa. Welcome, Free State. Thank you for watching, as well as Caesar Fowles. I love the discipline. All South Africans supporting Jerry, apart from one. He's a good friend of mine. He's Caesar's #1 supporter, Marisa Sifo Makansi, watching from Johannesburg in Gauteng in South Africa, and he's supporting Caesar. And he'll be having very big trouble should Caesar win, because he will be celebrating to the top of his voice. And even his wife will not be happy about that, because he's not Mzansi, he's not a patriot. I'm kidding. Marisa, you can support a player of your wish. But it is Jerry that will be taking a 2-frame lead here. How good will the cue ball be? Not natural. It is off the cushion. Position of the yellow in relation to white. It is portable to the diagonal corner pocket, bottom left of the screen, drawing the cue ball slightly upwards near the center pocket, just like that. The position of the black. Even Francis Mukwekwe can pot. Jeremiah Naido 10 and Caesar Chandiga 8-21. with a 10 frames to 8 lead. Here comes frame number 19. We are about 2 more frames away to the half-time interval of the match, and the frame is broken with 2 yellows potted, and all of the remaining yellows on the table are in space, just as much as all of the reds, just as much as the black and the white, in what looks like almost certainly a frame that will be won by Jerry and by break and finish, live on break and finish. Here comes the bulldozer. He may leave the table open here. He has closed it. The ball, the yellow that was, it moved as though it was never ever going to be sunk. Now here comes Ganda. There's some very intimidating names, and they all match with his body structure. The bulldozer, the green machine, like his ever fresh, evergreen. He has played the black ball close to Caesar's red. That will be the most regrettable shot he will be playing in this match. Now the frame will be very hard to finish by Jerry. He needs magic. And it's starting with the ball that is close to the black. I don't think that is now the best decision. He's deciding to leave a big cut between now the white, yellow, and the corner pocket top left, where he's playing the black. Wants to play the cue ball into the black, or the red close to the black. Here comes a shot into the black, but not open enough. As for a chase of recovery, he may have a very sharp cut of the black. Try to play it right against the rail to the corner pocket top right, which, if he does, will be a very magnificent way in which to finish the frame. There comes the cut. Where's the black going? It is a miss. A very narrow miss. A very unfortunate miss. Highly likely, of course, to be punished by the Scorpion with just 1 more centimeter of accuracy. The frame will be won by Jerry. The fact that he lacked that 1 centimeter, the same frame is now even closer to being won by Caesar. On the verge of coming within 1 frame of Jerry yet again, the Scorpion will need to put the 2 reds at the left end of the table to the same corner pocket. White ball being played with a little back spin. Now a top spin, cue ball bouncing off the top cushion, moves just around the middle of the table. The frame is highly winnable, of course, from this kind of range. Caesar knows, Jerry knows, everybody knows that it's a frame that is being won by the Scorpion. For Jerry, the mistake was failing to put the black. For Caesar, the response is winning the frame and coming within 1 of the equalizer. Chandiga Caesar now 9 and Jeremiah Naido 10. There is a chance for the Scorpion to conclude a match that could be anybody's, with 1 player having a good pattern but much better potting ability, that is Jerry, and another player having relatively good potting ability, Caesar, but a much better pattern. The pattern versus the shots. Pretty much, that's the kind of conquest that we are having today. $10 frames to 9 and racing to 21. Last time out that I checked was Innocent Sami, the Tanzanian, leading against the Ugandan Joseph Kasozi by 4 frames to 1. And there is a lot of side business that is happening here. Many betting on Caesar, many betting on Jerry. That is the matches between the fans themselves. And the players have no idea that they are making money for other guys whom they don't even know about. And they are losing some money to others. And many of the odds were on Caesar for the fact that it was one guy that had a big chunk of money against Caesar and inviting different funds to stake what they could in amounts of their choice, those that were staking on Jerry. That's most of the side business that is happening here. Ladies and gentlemen, while this is a match that is having a lot of following, it is organized gambling. With each of the players' camp staking $2,500 US. And now the winner to take the pot, which is the total stake, that now becomes $5,000. Maybe for any match that I have streamed, this one should be the highest pot ever. I've streamed a few that have had $4,000, including here during this tour. Then the match that was won by Caesar in Kampala against Jerry, that as well had $4,000 US. There was that $8,000, 8,000 rand, 80,000 rand match between Jerry and Aiden in KwaZulu Natal in Durban early this year. It's not equal to $5,000 US. This one perhaps for myself as a streamer, the biggest of them all, most especially in terms of pot. Now this one will look like maybe the most tactical frame of them 20 that are being played in this frame so far. Jeremy want to play his yellow off the cushion, just like that, play it away from the pocket, which he does, but will play it into another cushion, perhaps only close to a cushion, but now portable. Caesar has one dead red, the one that is entangled between two yellows at the top left end of the table. There are also two reds that have a yellow in between at the opposite end of the table on the right. Caesar will be playing another red, not to pot it. Jerry will be observant, simply to ensure that Caesar is not fouling here. And Jerry is playing yet another yellow, not to pot. And at one point, I want to believe that umpire Joseph Mugisha will be cautioning the players to play with the intention to pot, because if they overdo it, he has the right to call a stalemate, the footballing equivalent of a draw game. Here comes Caesar with the pot. His intention was to play the cue ball into those yellows that are touching the red. He missed them all, potted the cue ball, fouling in the process and giving a chance to Jerry to take a 2-frame lead as we head into the halftime of the match. And guys, you can as well advise me $5,000 US. How much is that in your local currency? Most especially those that are watching from Zimbabwe, how much is that in Zimbabwean dollars? Okay, here in Tanzania, it's about 12 million shillings. Yes, around 12 million shillings or thereby. So please advise me. I'm not in Tanzania, I'm in Kenya, but in Tanzania it's around 12 million shillings. So how much is $5,000 in your local currency? As Jerry goes for a clearance to convert the $5,000 into rands. That's his intention by the close of day. Mareza says it is 84,000 rands. That is how much Jerry is fighting for. Of course, he's a rands guy. And he will be winning on 11th. He will be taking a 2-frame lead. As the pot's yellow, all he needs is not to get himself. Look at that's why he draws the cue ball backward. with now the easiest spot of the black. Cherry 11 and Caesar 9. Shazia Mosongole, you say it is 10,000 kwacha in Zambia. Salman Tinashe, you say it is 100 million Zimbabwean dollars. I'm not so certain. Langster Selai, you say it is 75,000 rands. Maybe you are not so accurate. I'm not so certain. And Sheikh Taboka, you say that in Zimbabwe it's backed by gold. And Poilano Nkopane in your currency, you say it is 82,000. Then Sami, you say it is 97,000, I think, in kwacha. Tinashe reminding us that it is 84,000 in rands. And it is rands 90,000, someone else says, while in Kenya shillings, you say it is 65,000. No, 650,000. Now I get it. And as I see, what you are saying is it's worth on the YouTube stream. And someone says it is 125,000 zig in Zimbabwe. Then Estash Hamonga says it is 84,000 in kwacha. Mwachilimba, you say in Malawi it is 9 million. In my country it's even more, but I don't want to tell you. Augustine Chimoka, you say it is 94,000 in kwacha. Maybe you are not accurate. And Brian Kruger says it is 650,000 in Kenya shillings, while Solomon the Great, you say it is 7.4 million naira in your Nigerian currency. Now let me tell you, in my country it is more than 18 million in Ugandan shillings. That is what Caesar is fighting for. That is his local currency. He can win this money and then move a few kilometers, maybe 20 kilometers out of the CBD of Kampala, his capital city. There he will be buying a piece of land by winning this match. But first, he has to come from 2 frames down. To come from 2 frames down, he needs to win this very ongoing frame. With now 5 yellows on the table. As it's red, sorry, I want to beg your pardon that he is playing. The 2 reds near the side pocket bottom will cause his a little bit of worry. The manipulation of the cue ball is perfect solution, perhaps that the red that is in the middle of the 3 will be played first potted to the corner pocket bottom left. Well, that's what he'll be doing. Maybe play the cue ball into the yellow close to red, because it remains natural for the other red near the side pocket. He doesn't even play it into the yellow. After all, he will be okay. As he now puts the penultimate red to the side pocket bottom, he needs to have sight of the red that is the only remaining one on the table, which he'll be putting to the corner pocket top left, drawing the cue ball backwards. A little backspin. Maybe to use the cushion a little, off the cushion, close to the black, and the rest is a formality. After 21 frames played, it is now Jeremiah Naito 11 and Caesar Chandiga 10.
It's 85,000 kwacha. What?
In a match that is living to the promise of a total cracker. Balanced, fair, competitive, unpredictable, tense, and close could be won by either of the opponents, and perhaps in equal measure. It is as well causing too much pressure on the 2 sets of fans. That is the Team Bulldozer fans as Team the Scorpion, as the Caesar fan base are called. They are the first management team of the Scorpion, and I want to dedicate this match in some kind of way to them. I know that they are all watching from Caesar's home country, Uganda. Stephen Ojara, Robert Onekalit, Stephen Austin, Keith, amongst others, until they handed Caesar as the finished products to the Advanced Talent Agency. Now to become even more professional in terms of management. As well, Jerry's management team, Big Kelsey, has as well been under different management teams. Has as well been managed by the ATA for a few months prior. In fact, Jerry was Team ATA even before Caesar. So that's what makes this match some kind of rivalry. But not just that, it is a big African rivalry. When Jerry and Caesar play, the whole African continent are watching. With now the Scorpion going for an equalizer, he may want to play pot red to the corner pocket top left, the yellow, the cue ball played close to another red. By its resting position, the Scorpion's intention was to put the second red to the same corner pocket he has potted the previous, and will be playing the cue ball into the yellow, close to the side pocket at the top, just like that, for the yellow to support the stopping of the white and the pot of the red by the Scorpion. Will record his equalizer in a match that he has not been leading, but has not been letting Jerry to run away with, and it could still be anybody's game. Frame number 22 is won by Caesar, an equalizing frame. It is Caesar Chandiga 11 and Jeremiah Naito 11. Frame 23, dear viewers, could be broken dry by Jerry. And yes, it is broken dry. And look at the position of the cue ball in relation to the yellows, in relation to the reds as well. You get a feeling Caesar will want to play the reds. Playing them and finishing them off are two different matters altogether. Because there is a red that is right behind yellow, near the corner pocket top left. If Caesar puts red to the center pocket top by and closes the table, then that red will become a problem ball. He may want to draw the cue ball backwards and play it into that red I'm talking about. It's what he's doing, and closes the table and plays another red in space, and makes himself on the verge of winning yet another frame with one visit of the table, with one big shot that splits the frame open and makes it winnable. He's having half sight of that red, plays it with backspin. Beautiful, perfect, accurate, and all the balls he's supposed to be putting on the table. Maybe the problem ball now is the black. At some point he may need something like combination play, most especially as he plays to put what will be the last red on the table. Here comes the Ugandan Scorpion, having to put two reds to the same corner pocket top right. The cue ball bouncing off the right cushion. Elito now leaves a very necessary cut. Has to play the cue ball maybe into the yellow behind black, or into the black itself, or close to the black. It is now, as I realize, portable. Another frame by break and finish by the Scorpion for the very first time in the match. If I'm not mistaken, the Ugandan takes the lead, a very important lead, just at the start of the second half. Chandiga, Caesar 12, and Jeremiah Naido 11. We have just had a period that has seen Caesar as the better player. That is ever since timing, because we went for timeout when Jerry was leading by 3 frames. It was 8-5. Right after timing, Jerry has won 3 and Caesar has won 7 out of 10. And like I always say, Jerry now must be wary that this guy from Moyo in northwestern Uganda, every time that he plays, most especially in these long races, does have that time when he becomes unplayable. The worrying bit from Jerry's game is that maybe that time is now. Jerry has got what it takes to pot anything on the table. His potting power normally bails him out. That's why he's one of the most feared players on the African continent, because he has the best potting ability. But Mr. Patton, that is Caesar, most of the times can match that potting prowess of the bulldozer. Another thing Caesar has done successfully is to kind of slow down the pace of the game. Of course, at Jerry's speed, he's unplayable. Keep count, dear viewers, of the number of apples that we are having. The level of play is a very good advertisement of African pool. The two players shooting out against each other are two of the very best that Africa has gotten to offer today. Caesar Snookers himself, especially if he is to play the red that is close to the cushion top left first, the cue ball is somehow into the jaw. If he must play to pot, it must be another ball. This one, he has to curve the cue ball a little around the jaw to find the red, hopefully pot it, curves it, finds the red, but misses. Advantage, Jerry. What can Jerry do? What he needs is to pot a ball. Maybe the yellow that is closest to the black is potable to the center pocket top. Even the one that is close to red is as well potable. Goes for the one close to the black, to the center pocket, and gets it in. That one will be so worrying for Caesar. Maybe Caesar could count his chances on the yellow that is right behind the red at the left end of the table. Others are very portable, most especially when the guy that is trying to pot them is Jerry. Another yellow just around the exact middle of the table is portable to the corner pocket top right. in a frame that I don't even know why Jerry is throwing his hands around. The frame looks certainly winnable and winnable now. Well, if you are looking for some kind of surprise from Jerry, there comes one. It's not one of those easy balls, potting maybe off cushion and off a red, but he did it with very good game reading, top concentration, and will now be taking the frame away. And if he does, it will be a very deserved frame won by the bulldozer, and also it will be a very deserved equalizer. With him now needing to put one yellow on the table and then the black portable most certainly to the side pockets, either top or bottom. At the bottom it can go in between the red and Joe. At the top it will just go off the red or direct. He's instead nominating to go for the corner pocket bottom left. Of course he can never ever miss. After 24 frames, dear viewers, it is now Jeremiah Naido 12 and Caesar Chandiga 12. And Jerry has a very good record of performance in money matches against Ugandan players. Over the last 2 years, he did play in Uganda, beating Simon Nobola the computer 16-12. He beat Bwanika Mansur 16-11. He beat Rashid Wagaba in Uganda by 16-12. Over the last 2 years, he has beaten Joseph Kasozi 3 times, I think in 3 countries, in Bulawayo, in Zimbabwe, in Kampala, in Uganda, in Eldoret, in Kenya. All of them, Jerry coming victorious. He has defeated Ibrahim Sejemba once in Uganda and lost twice in Uganda against the same player. Also lost against Ibra at Ball Breakers in Johannesburg. The last time the two faced off against each other, racing to 15. I think it ended 15 frames to 11. He has played about maybe 14 money matches against Caesar, with Jerry having about 8 victories compared to Caesar's 6. This one could be a 7th for Caesar or a 9th for Jerry. The bulldozer could be taking the lead here. Watch the potential pot, also watch the movement of the cue ball. He normally likes to bully his opponents round as he plays to try and pot the cue ball following the yellow all the way. He may want to put both yellow and black to the same center pocket bottom, and the rest is a formality. By break and finish, Jeremiah Naido 13 and Caesar Chandiga 12, rest 21. Caesar as well with a relatively good performance against South African players. Of course, slightly down on Jerry in terms of a head-to-head performance compared to victories and defeats, but Caesar has a very good record against South Africa's Aiden Joseph. He lost against Aiden by 21 frames to 20 in Kampala in Uganda. has defeated Eden twice here in Nairobi, twice by 21 frames, twice for $4,000. He has defeated Eden for $4,000 in Johannesburg in South Africa twice. He has defeated him twice there and has lost once to the same player. He has defeated Eden once in Lusaka in Zambia in another race to 21. In Johannesburg, he has defeated Pilani Mazambani. I think he has defeated Yolen. He had the tour last year, played matches in Johannesburg and Cape Town and Durban in 3 different provinces, KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng and Western Cape. He won most of the matches, but not against Jerry. He also then lost once and won once against Eden. Won against Eden in a 4-man comp that Caesar won. He then lost against Jaden bigly in a money match that was organized in Johannesburg. I think it was 21 frames to 12. And then mid last year, he had the nerves, Caesar to headset South African youngster Ethan Chetty with +7 racing to 25. The match was won by Ethan. That is one of the last bits of action that Ethan ever played on the blackboard tables. Now he is fully a committed Heibo player. He did tell me early this year, as he was not participating in the All Africa Pool Championships. And that match between Ethan and Caesar with +7 on the record is their highest ever watched live match in the history of African pool to present date. At one time, towards the end, it had 8.4K people watching live. This one is a little close, but not close enough. It is a little under 5,000 watching live. Here comes the Scorpion with a chance to pull one back to equalize on the bulldozer. Tomorrow, just around the same time at the same venue, shall be Kelvin Mkando Fikoti to take on Caesar Chandega. If nothing changes, Jeremiah Naido will be flying back to Durban. If he wins this match, it will, in my opinion, be a very successful tour of Kenya, despite having been beaten by the Ugandan youngster Jackson Asiku in the 16-man comp second round. But if he gets to win, well, 3 money matches against 3 and gets to beat Caesar in Kenya for the first time of any player, I believe it will be a successful tour by Jerry. Once again, in a money match in this country, Caesar has never been defeated by anybody. That's why he's so popular here. In fact, the 2 times, the money matches that he's been winning here, many of which have been streaming, have gotten even more celebrations than some of those that he has been winning from home. As he equalizes, as he aims for the block, as he shoots, as he puts. After 26 frames, it is the Scorpion 13 and the Bulldozer 13. Another dry break by Jerry. Another chance for Caesar to take the lead. The money matches between these two can really mean to be very entertaining and exciting. Of course, because the two are differently gifted but very gifted. And I have to confess, I like watching both. When Caesar is playing, I like watching the pattern. That could very easily be the best pattern of any player on the African continent. But he's taking on the player who has the best potting ability, in my opinion, on the entire continent, Jerry, who also plays the fastest pool when he decides to play fast. And the African record for the fastest finished frame was just 33 seconds between Caesar and Jerry, coming to 2 years ago right here. And it wasn't even a time tournament. Not as if time was running out for Jerry to finish the balls. He just won the frame after breaking it, and after 33 seconds, black was sunk. Unlike I said, even the second fastest frame ever on record for any African player is by the same guy for 37 seconds against Victor at Queens in Bulawayo 1 year earlier. What can the Scorpion do here? With 3 yellows on the table, with one aim, register a red apple and take the lead for what will be the second time in the match. A race to 8, it is this one. Maybe 70 to 80 minutes will be enough for us to have a winner. And I have this feeling we could have this match go out to a decide that the winner could win by 21 frames to 20, or at the very maximum maybe 21 frames to 19, and it could be either of these guys. There has been a miss by Caesar. There is a chance, yet again another chance by the bulldozer. With Jerry having a very supportive manager, Big Kells, who had to extend his ticket to stay around and support his guy. And how about this? That is a very uniting money match, having viewership from all over the continent, and everybody supporting a player of their choice for all their respective reasons. Jerry, Durban born, Durban raised, playing in Kenya, managed in Nigeria. Caesar, Ugandan boy, managed in Uganda but playing in Kenya just after coming from Bolton. The dollars at hand involved in this match, either to be converted into shillings or rands. Umpire Joseph Mugisha will be advising whether there is a foul or not. He will need video evidence. He will have a relook at the shots, most especially those that are watching from the YouTube stream. You can play a bit backwards to see what the match officials are exactly looking at. After just one look at the shot, umpire Joseph Mugisha has ruled a foul. After playing off the cushion, Caesar seemed to have played red first. He's showing the same video to the player, just such that the ruling is appreciated by both players and both fans. For you as fans, you can re-look at the video if you play it backwards. For those of you who have updated Facebook, you can watch. For those that are watching from YouTube, it is always very clear. Of course, Caesar wants to be fully contented by asking the umpire for more evidence. Of course, it is big money at stake. Don't blame for players to demand evidence when evidence can be provided by video. But yes, there is no way video evidence can be fought against.
Hello. Songe Dorcas akisaidia chaja iko 16. Yana kuja akachukua yeye.
Kopa 76. Yako. 76 yangu.
The players are still not yet content. Jerry claims Caesar played red first. I think Caesar claims he played a double tap, which will be a legal shot. The umpire does give the players latitude now to look at the video themselves, but it is him to have the ultimate ruling. He's one of the most respected umpires in Kenya. I'm sorry, after Kisto. And then, of course, a referee for the Kenya Football Federation. So he officiates pool at the top level. He as well officiates football at the top level in the country, besides having played pool at the top level by himself.
It's okay. It's okay, dude.
So guys, this same video that you are watching, the same video has been played back several times and in slow motion with slower and slower and slower playback speed until there was agreement, until there was the umpire to rule with video evidence that it is a foul. Maybe the chance for Jerry to take the lead, to need to win 7 out of the would be remaining 14 frames after this one is done. With now 5 yellows on the table, with assumption the one is, yes, it was always going to be potted. They are reds. I want to beg your pardon. All he needs is nothing but a clearance, and with 1 piece of the table. While he's a very good potter, Jerry, his cue ball manipulation skills are also very good. Just that sometimes his potting ability outperforms any of his other qualities. One of South Africa's best, one of Africa's best is on the verge of taking the lead against Uganda's finest, and also one of the finest that the continent has gotten to offer. Jerry will be playing black to the center pocket where there is the yellow. He has latitude to play the black direct or off the jaw and off yellow. Either will be okay. He goes direct and gets it in and wins the frame and takes the lead. Jeremiah Naido and South Africa 14, Caesar Chandigarh and Uganda 13. Here comes the break of frame number 28 by Caesar, getting to put 1 ball and another. 2 yellows potted, all yellows potable. The reds as well. The cue ball in space. He has a yellow to start with. Of course, the scorpion will be going for the yellows. The chance can't come any better to equalize by break and finish for the guy that probably has played the highest number of money matches in the last 3, 4, 5 years. So many of them that they are ever since returning from Zambia, where he was a semi-professional player in 2022 with Sharks Pool Club when he played against Ugandans. Bwanika Mansuru, Simon Ndobola, Joseph Kasozi, Ibrahim Kayanja, Ibrahim Sejemba. Every Ugandan that dared, he took them down, and for most of them with vulgar scores. Some of them with head starts, until he became unplayable against fellow countrymen. Then started venturing outside of the country, most especially targeting South Africa. And how many money matches has he played against Jerry? I think this one is the 15th, and close to 10 against Aiden. After this, we'll be testing money match action against Kelvin tomorrow and Tula the following day. Being a part of the action that has been in Kenya for the last 1 month, he now gets to equalize yet again in the match by Apple, putting 5 yellows. Of course, easy one it was, and then the black, and then the 14th frame. A race to 7 it is now. Caesar 14 and Jerry 14.
Red and green, there are many. Maybe half of the match.
Just that maybe for the last 30 minutes or so, Jerry's breaks have not been that good. Clearance of the table will be far-fetched in this one. But these guys are big guys. Even if I'm looking this bad, you get a feeling Caesar will want to try to finish it with this current piece of the table. Let's see how. As he gets to play red of yellow, he closes the table, playing a yellow of Jerry behind the red. He now plays red into red with the intention not to put, and achieves exactly that. Just to have control of a corner pocket. He has so many of Jerry's yellows behind for Caesar to have his red right packed at the corner pocket. I think it is good game reading from the Ugandan, especially given the fact that finishing the frame off was close to impossible. Jerry will ensure that as many of Caesar's reds as possible are dead balls. He has just played yellow into red, having two reds of Caesar close to the side pocket bottom, pretty much unportable. The red he's looking at Caesar, of course portable, but he plays with the intention not to pot. Plays the cue ball to limit Jerry to having sight of just two of the 7 yellows he has on table, to limit his intentions, to force him perhaps into an unforced error, which error would be to play the two reds of Caesar, which are near the center pocket top, into space. And Jerry responds to safety with safety. Now there is a tempting shot here. Look at the red that is on the left of the white. If Caesar cuts it, the cue ball could be played into the red, two dead reds. He chooses to play another shot instead. He wants to be as safe as possible. Goes for the red off the cushion on the right into the left end of the table. Again, he's limiting Jerry's options, maybe to having sight of just one of 7 yellows he's having on the table. And keep me company, dear viewers. Tomorrow it will be Kelvin versus Caesar. Sunday, Abdullah Hussein versus Caesar. Sorry, tomorrow is Sunday. Hussein versus Caesar is expected on Monday. As Jerry fouls, you do give him all the credit for accepting this match against Caesar, even when it came at the cost of extension of the ticket. It comes at a cost to extend your flight. He was meant to leave just after the end of the comp that was completed on Easter Monday. He accepted the call to have a match with Caesar today. The reason this match came first was because Jerry's flight was due. So far, his tour is successful in terms of monies made. Of course, he came for the money, but it could just be 50-50 if he doesn't win 7 more frames, if Caesar does instead. Because as a matter of count, he won a $3,000 pot against Kelvin. He won a $3,000 pot against Eshka. He didn't reach the prize money in the Easter Cup tournament, but his team were second, and there was money to win for being number 2. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was about 120,000 Kenya shillings. If it is shared in between the players of the team, you can just make the calculation of how much Jerry went home with it from that one, but it will all count or perhaps come to 0 if he doesn't win this big one, which is the biggest of them all, not because of the pot, but also because of the size and weight of his opponent. And there has been a miss. The only way Jerry can recover, just considering that 5 of his yellows are right behind the red of Caesar near the corner pocket, top left. He needs to open up that pocket. He needs to have that pocket occupied by his ball, or perhaps open it up and play some kind of combination. He's potting the cue ball instead and is now almost certainly losing the frame. And what a match we are having on our hands. Drama, uppers, dry breaks, mistakes, pressure, clearances, nerves, and everything that a big match can come with is all seen right in front of our eyes and in real time between Caesar and Jerry, as the Ugandan Scorpion now gets to pot black for what will be the 15th time in the match. As the cue ball was played round the black is now sunk for the Scorpion to regain the lead and the confidence and coming closer to the money and what will be a memorable victory. Also taking into account that he has a 100% record of money match victories in the Republic of Kenya. Second time out of the match for 2 minutes at the request of Caesar. Chandega 15 and Jerry 14, rest to 21.
Not clear. White and the yellow.
It's very like it's not very evidence.
Kama hiyo video tuonyesha hapa yani kapozi ya kulikuwa na space na hivi hata ikaenda hivi white space because if you was bridging over another alikuwa na bridge hiyo pale nyingine so yeah you alikuwa na bridge over another one so the reason he was elevating the queue is to avoid touching other person. You see where bridging over the I think it's alafu unajua ni slides so unaweza kuelewa ikaenda hivyo ikaenda. Ni good shot.
Really? As we are back, dear viewers, we are back with yet another clearance, yet another pending equalizer, yet these guys denying each other the chance of taking every big lead in a match that could go all the way to a decider in a big race to 21 for a big pot of $5,000. The scores are now 15 frames a piece. Our race to 5, our race to 21, dear viewers, is now officially a race to 6. Too tight, too tense, too close, too unpredictable. Jerry 15 and Caesar 15. Coming to you live from Mchana Pub and Grill in Nairobi, Kilimani, Kenya. And while this place has about maybe 7, maybe 8 giant screens, the majority of them are screening Jerry versus Caesar, despite the fact that there is live Premier League happening. A sign of the popularity that this sport is picking up, most especially here in Africa. For the 16th time in the match, Jerry breaks and breaks dry. He shakes his head in disbelief at how he's lost his breaks for the last maybe 30 minutes or so. It is a big reason as to why he's not leading his breaks, given how he was breaking in the first half and given how he's breaking now. Here comes the Scorpion. He may want to play the cue ball into the black. Plays it into the black to have the black in a little bit of space in what is a statement of intent that he is here to take the frame and regain the lead, regaining control of the match as it comes closer to its end. Having arrived at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport just yesterday, he just said that he is in the mood to play. He also hinted on giving Ishmael a match, as Ishmael wants to be head-started with the +5. His management thinks otherwise it is not necessary. They liked it a lot last time around when he was UK bound in the space of the next 3 days to participate in the Ultimate Full Championships. He needed game time, most especially for the fact that he was coming from the World Heibo Championships, playing on the Heibo table, different rules, different perspectives. He needed some competition on the small table, the 3'5" table. He got that in an ATA organized 8-man double elimination comp in Kampala, where he came second. He took one life to the second round in the UK Ultimate Full Championships and then lost out to Tom Cousins in a highly rated, highly staked, highly potted money match against world #1 Tom Cousins, who took him down by a relatively big score of 30 frames to 14. He's now having a chance for yet another time to take a lead in this African derby against the guy that gives him the hardest time of all that have been facing him in money matches, and that is Jerry. But it is Caesar who is on the verge of needing to win 5 if he puts black to the corner pocket bottom left. Of course he will. Of course he puts, and now gets a round of applause from the fans after grabbing a 1-frame lead yet again in the match. It is 16 for Caesar and 15 for Jerry, racing to 21 for $5,000. Joseph Castles in 9 and Innocent Sammy 7. That one is live as well, but yes, we shall be giving it more attention. It has taken about 15 minutes without being played because the players are not contented about one situation, whether there was a foul or not. The Ugandan Scorpion hold grab a 2-frame lead here, and it is starting to really become the business end of the match. A match that has been so tight, that has had almost nothing to separate the players. A match that has Caesar having a very slight lead. That lead could grow if only he can finish the 5 reds on the table, and the black. A match that is having a chief guest, a member of the Kenyan Parliament, the Honorable Mheshimiwa Babu Owino, watching in the VIP area alongside members of his security, and then Simba Odede, the director of Jamlock, as well as Big Kells, Jerry's sponsor, and so many of the top players that are deciding to participate in this match passively as viewers. Ishmael, Dula, SLV, the ladies, PR, Kelvin Yegon, amongst others. Looks like Caesar miscued a bit there as he played. Looks like Jerry now has a chance for yet another equalizer. 16 frames to 15. The Scorpion leading against the Bulldozer. Tricky looking frame, this one most especially because of one yellow that is close to red near the top left end of the table. The others are easily palatable, most especially when the guy that is trying to finish them is Jerry. As he tries and puts to put, look at the yellow near red, near the center pocket. He will go for power. And not power really, but just the precision that the South African needed to put a very crucial ball that is on the verge of now giving him the lead in the big match. Now having to put the last yellow to the side pocket top with a little top spin. The cue ball follows all the way but rightwards. He wants to put black to the same center pocket, and the rest is a formality. Apple after apple, finish after finish, visit after visit. 32 frames played. Jerry 16, Caesar 16, race to 21. Race is now to 5. And once again, a very big thank you to Chairman GNM the director of Mchana Pub and Grill, for reviving the spirit of the game in Africa. Kenya now is a power, and it all has Mchana as his locus, as its locus, with 3 teams: the Morans, the Gladiators, and the Knights. And they are some of the most active players participating in comp after comp after comp in every province of Kenya, and in every region, every country of the continent where big comps are organized. And most of them do have chairman behind them. He also organizes a whole calendar of events across the year, all well sponsored. Just yesterday there was a big prize ceremony at the venue for the Mchana League. Many other events, of course the biggest of them all, the Grand Mchana, that normally attracts the best players from the African continent. Even now, when players knew that they are going to Mchana, many flights led to Kenya. And these table facilities on which you are playing are standard Optima blackboard tables, the same tables on which Caesar and Tom Cousins played off last week. The same brand of tables where we have the World Pool Championships and the Ultimate Pool Championships and the like. But it's the same table where Jerry could now take the lead in the match. He will have the black as the ball to worry of, because it is touching one of Caesar's reds. However, that black potentially could go into the corner pocket top right if Jerry finishes off the yellows and plays the cue ball to the right bottom corner of the table. He will try this one to play with too much precision, too little power, and it's in. Of course, he'll want to play the yellow close to white first to the corner pocket top left, then bounce the cue ball off the top cushion to move it a little rightward such that he can put the other yellow to the side pocket at the bottom. That is the bottom center pocket, and has to leave a cut between the white and the second yellow to move the white to the bottom corner on the right of the table. That would be his pattern of victory. If he doesn't do that, the challenge will now be to play the black open. He's playing the cue ball a little different. Now wants to draw it backwards to the bottom right corner of the table. He may not even want to play the cue ball into the black, but have a position where he can play and put black to the corner pocket at the top right. The cue ball lacked a little bit of movement, but the shot is possible. Jerry to have a cut onto black. He doesn't even want to play it off the red because it can pass. There he plays and misses big, and gives a chance instead to his opponent Caesar to take the lead again in the match. It is seeming like the lion's share of the funds are Caesar funds. Chance for the Scorpion to grab the lead in a match where frames have been exchanged equally, one after the other, another after the other, apple after apple, miss after miss, clearance after clearance, visit after visit. Too little, almost nothing to separate the players, at least so far, as Caesar snookers. Jerry is trying to do something that has never been done before: defeat Caesar in a money match on Kenyan soil for the very first time. He's lost in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, in Zambia, in Morocco, in the United Kingdom. Of all the places where he has played money matches, many of them, and never having lost, is the Republic of Kenya. That's why he really likes to play in Kenya. And when he was told that there is action in Kenya, he really felt that he could be a part of this. Jerry snookered, wanting to play black, maybe off the jaw of the center pocket. Maybe he can have he played off the jaw and he played off the target, and the Scorpion has the chance. You get the feeling that for your free shot, he may want to play the cue ball into the two reds close to each other near the black. The rest of the reds on the table are in pretty good space. The black in pretty good space as well. The frame is finishable. For Caesar, the lead is regainable. Race to 5 for $5,000 US. 16-16 going to 21. Here comes Mr. Ambassador, playing the cue ball into the red, red into the black, and now all of them 7 reds with that little free shot are now in position where they can as well be portable for the Scorpion to record yet another clearance to take him into the lead, to take him to the figure 17, to make him to need 4 out of the would be remaining 7, perhaps 8. Coming closer and closer and closer. The cut, he lives between white and red. As he puts red to the corner pocket top right, actually bounces the cue ball off the right cushion to move the cue ball a little leftwards, just a little, and maybe could start with the red after the one he's playing, after the red that is near the black. He's instead playing with intent to play the red that is near the side pocket top. As he plays, as he aims, as he goes for the pot, plays red into red by connection. And I want to believe after putting this, the one he'll be playing next is the one close to black. Plays the cue ball just into the black. He has sight of the red. I'm not so certain it is sight enough to pot it. He's getting himself in trouble here. It is the ball supposed to pot, has a little curve of the cue ball, a little around the black, and pots. Recovery by the Scorpion to pot the last red with maybe the cue ball bouncing off the cushion, and the rest is a formality. With now 33 frames played out of a maximum of 41, Chandigarh Caesar leads by 17 frames to 16.
Would you be happy with first game? You should. Dula and I should. That one man. Hazard na safe. The match. You just 2. There are others.
Coming close to breaking the African record for the most watched game ever. We are now over 6,200 watching live. This one is now in position number 3. If we can make it close to 8,000 as the match draws to a close, and then we shall have the African record broken today here at Mchano. The break in frame number 34 by the Scorpion was not only dry, it came with a scratch. Jerry has been here so many times, and so many times against Caesar. A match that could go either way. A match that you cannot call for now. A match that has pressure for Caesar, pressure for Jerry, pressure in South Africa, pressure in Uganda, elsewhere on the continent. Maximum entertainment, maximum drama. Going for a red apple is Jerry. Has the two reds close to each other. As a little bit of the problem, one of them is portable, I think, to the corner pocket top right. However, there is another red touching the yellow just around the middle point of the table, and plays to pot, and yes, he does pot in space close to the black with one of them close to yellow. It's the one he's playing, it's the one he's trying to pot. If he does pot it, every reason to worry. If you're a Caesar fan, an even bigger reason to worry if you are Caesar himself. The bulldozer will be having these three reds pretty much finishable, pretty much palatable. He would have potted the black already. But now for Caesar, he must either go defensive or play combination, player yellow into red, try to pot both of them, combination successful. As easy does. Now could get himself on the verge of grabbing a 2-frame lead. I don't remember at any point in the match Caesar having a 2-frame lead since he went into timeout when he was down by 8 frames to 5. He came back and won 3 frames in a row and equalized, and thereafter, after a few frames, got to lead by 1 frame. Since then, he has either been equal or he has been leading by 1 frame. He's not led for 2 frames. Maybe this is the chance. Wanting to put one yellow. Cue to be bounced off the top cushion, played into another yellow. Umpire Joseph Mugisha seems to have some discussion. Maybe he claims there was a foul. I think he does claim. Maybe he will want to have video evidence, video review. Umpire Joseph Mugisha wants to have video review before he can roll a foul against Caesar. Umpire Joseph Mugisha is so far the man of the match. Upon video review, it was a clear foul, and it's nobody, not Caesar, neither did Jerry, neither did us who are streaming and doing the media coverage, but Joseph Mugisha did, and he was gentle enough, first of all, to need video approval. After all, he knows he's human as well, subjected himself to that, and then vindicated himself when the foul was seen with clarity. Now, after the free shot, Jerry is making a clearance that is another of his so many equalizers that have been happening in the same match. Jerry 17 and Caesar 17, race to 21, now race to 4. The break for the 18th time by Jerry has been dry. The predictable chance for Scorpion to win the frame by red apple doesn't come any bigger. He's perhaps nominating the yellows, goes for the reds, plays red into red by connection, closes the table. The Scorpion is on the reds and Jerry the yellows. As for the Scorpion, he wants Jerry not to play any of the yellows by Caesar winning the frame by reverse dish. His fans celebrated when Jerry broke dry, as though Caesar had potted black. They know that Caesar is more than capable of taking the chance to win the frame, thereby win the match. Four reds to go, and the black is touching Jerry's yellow. It can pass into the corner pocket bottom left if Caesar gets that far. I get a feeling he'll want to play the red that is in between the three, put it to the center pocket top, draw the cube backwards. He's opting for another shot instead. There we go. He may move the cue ball back and forth off the cushion to the... Oops, he played it to the black. I now see what he was trying to do. There was some crazy shooting from the Scorpion. He just came short of the pot. Now Jerry has his work cut out. With all of them 7 yellows on the table, about 3 or 4 of them close to respective cushions, one of them just behind a corner, a pocket which has scissors red. It won't come easy for Jerry to make a clearance, but of course he will try. And if any player can attempt even to go for a clearance of these yellows, of course it is Africa's potting machine. And how nice it is that these guys want to give a game to each other. And if Jerry wins this match, the flight back to Durban tomorrow will be a very glorious flight. And as well, his boss Big Kells will be flying back to Lagos tomorrow as a very glad person. It is the first big money match that he's sponsoring for his guy, Jerry. Of course, he sponsored matches against Kelvin, but winning against Caesar is a little more special, with all due respect to the victory against Kelvin. Of course, Jerry as well won the match against Eshka. His stay in Nairobi is already in profit. Even if you were to factor in things like flights and accommodation and meals, the guy has been winning some good matches, 2 of them. But is now throwing almost all of his eggs in one basket by putting the majority of his winnings into this big one. I want to think that even Jerry being Jerry, he may play snooker here. No, he doesn't play snooker. He's Jerry at the end of the day. He has just played the cue ball into 1 yellow, which he has gotten to play into the cushion on the right. There is a one problem ball close to another problem ball. 2 balls, a yellow and red, close to each other near the center pocket at the top. It is that yellow that is causing a little problem in the mind for Caesar. It is for Jerry, and the red that causes a little mind in for Caesar. You just hope he doesn't run into a cliff, as we call it, when a player puts the easy balls and is left with the difficult ball or the snookered ball. He will want to play snooker this time round, and he is safe enough. Caesar is snookered almost totally. Can't find the red, of course, off the cushion at the bottom near the center pocket. It's actually in a normal shot. He has to play slow because I doubt he intends to pot. He just comes out of the angle, but he will be potting. And now we'll be attempting to go for the frame once and for all. If he plays the red that is packed at the corner pocket top left, he will want the cue ball to be played into the yellow that is close to the red, play the red in space and hopefully go for the match. It is the shot he may want to play if he's to play with offense. He's just played safe. I don't know how safe though. The bulldozer could be fouling here. That was close. And his fans clap as though he has spotted the black by simply playing as safe as he has done. I'm not even certain Caesar has sight of the red because the cue ball is right within the jaw. He may need to curve the cue ball a little. The umpire will want to be very observant and talks to Jerry. He tells him that Caesar is snookered. Now we want to curve the cue ball round the jaw simply to find the red near the yellow, not to foul, and he does. Puts the yellow and is now going. Puts the red, using the yellow, and is now going for the clearance. And clearly the lion's share of the fans will be supporting Caesar here. Of course, he's a member of the Mchana family. Now having to put red diagonally, bounce the cue ball off two cushions where he can go for the black to another diagonal corner pocket to the bottom left of the screen, which if he does, the continuation of the pattern of Caesar winning one frame and Jerry the other. That's how it has been for the last maybe 9 if not 10 frames. Caesar versus the black to the corner pocket, and it's in. Chandiga Caesar 18, Jeremiah Naidu 17, race to 21. 6 frames. And now the breaks can really mean to be very critical here. The break of frame number 6 by Caesar has been right. There is just one thing that has been very suspect about Caesar's breaks. Very easy to realize. Maybe he just hits the balls hard. He does not, with intent, control the cue ball on the break. Normally, players can play the cue ball on the break into the side cushion or the bottom cushion with the backspin, and playing the cue ball to lose the power after contact with the reds. But for Caesar, he seems just to hit the ball such that in case of a pot or not, he has no control of the cue ball. Also, that opens up more chances of scratching on the break. The chance could be taken by Jerry to equalize and continue with a pattern of him losing a frame and winning another. That has been happening for the last 1 hour or so, where the frames have been shared pretty much perfectly. This one could be Jerry's. He gets to miss, he gets to pot, as though the ball first thought about itself whether it could go in or not, then thought finally to get sunk.
Because guys are saying they can't hear you. And we can't continue using that because of power imeisha kwa nini?
The Bulldozer has played very successful defense here. A chance comes again, dear viewers, for the Bulldozer as Caesar fouls for a free shot. He plays Caesar's red, simply to leave his cue ball in a position where he can play either of the three yellows left on the table. Now they are to cue ball moving around both of them. He will want to put the two yellows to the respective corner pockets, top left and bottom left, and the black is there for the taking of the Bulldozer. And while these matches between Caesar and Jerry have all been very competitive, this one is likely to go down as the most competitive of them all, given the nature of how the scores have been shared between the two players. Now it is a rest of 3, dear viewers. 18 for Caesar and 18 for Jerry.
It's a bit delicate.
Yeah, sure. I wish I had a long time ago and told you to connect this one.
We are racing to 3 now for $5,000 live from China Pub and Grill in Nairobi. Both players have not had the breaks go their way today. Yet again, Jerry throws his hands around the place, simply regretting for breaking dry. As for Caesar, of course, a chance to re-grab the lead. How many times have I said that Caesar is grabbing the lead in this frame and Jerry is equalizing in the very next? That has been the story of the match so far. The scoreline otherwise is 18 frames apiece between Jerry and Caesar, 18 frames between ATA and Big Kills, 18 frames apiece between Uganda and South Africa. Of course, the idea is take the frame down and take the lead and come within 2 of the victory. He will be having the memories of all the matches that the two have been having, combined money matches and tournaments, maybe 2 dozens of matches in a number of countries where they've been facing off. In Kenya, in Tanzania, in Uganda, in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, in Zambia. Where Jerry has had the lion's share of victories in money matches, and where Caesar has had better performances against Jerry in tournaments. With now 4 reds on the table and the black, and the chance by the Scorpion to take down the frame. by reverse dish, by maintaining a pattern that has seen him as the most successful player on the continent, at least for the last 2 years. He has been able to rewrite African pool history, to demystify the dominance of South African players against players from the rest of the continent, with the Scorpion getting to win 3 international tournaments in the space of 1 month, December last year. And of the 3, the 2 had Jerry in participation. Caesar will now be putting the last 2 reds on the table, one to the side pocket top, the other to the corner pocket bottom right. He will want to have the cue ball follow the red all the way so that black can be potted to the side pocket on the bottom. Just like that, the rest is a formality. After 37 frames played, it is now Chandiga Caesar 19 and Jeremiah Naido 18.
Come on, boy. Come on, boy. Come on, boy. It's a giant ball to make us happy life. Make us happy light. Make us happy light, man. We like it from the highlight. We like it from that. Come on, man. This one has gone off. So now, yeah, so we are now 6-6. They return. No, they might stick there because they feel this one has
a maximum of 4 frames to have this match done to completion. Dear viewers, for the last time we are having a 3-minute timeout as requested by Jerry. Chandiga Caesar 19 and Jeremiah Naido 18, rest to 25.
When there is a physical skill,
tuongee salama. You are shaming your fan. You have turned off my phone. You guys are not. You have removed the power. Take it back. You okay? It's back off again. Don't touch that. Oh. You don't have the program for this. You don't have power. You need to get the program for it. This is risky. Sorry. Anyway, how are you? I'm well. So, it's off. No, it's coming back. It's going to come back. You're good. You guys you didn't carry them. It's about carry them. You're for real. Don't stay there. You will touch it again. It's off already. That's your piece. It's there. It's all that is good. What's the kubuza? Let's touch it again. It's on.
It's unlimited.
No. You have a subscription. Yes. You don't find my one for the road. The other one for the road. Too much trouble. Connecting to
there is this one shot that has been played poorly for most of the time by both of the players, and that has been the break for the 38th time. Caesar breaks. It seems dry. Yes, the break is dry. Another chance for another time for Jerry to get another equalizer. Even with just 4 frames to go, you still can very easily see the match could go either way. If I had power, I would declare both of these players winners of the action today, but I don't have any power. I'm just a streamer. I'm just a commentator. To put and play yellow into another with a backspin. With a problem yellow on the table, Jerry has one of his yellows almost frozen against the cushion bottom. To play that shot, he needs to move the cue ball a little closer. The other 3 yellows at the left are pretty palatable. One of them, not so much. How good will the cue ball be? A little backspin. Cue ball moves leftwards. The yellow that is in between the frozen yellow and black is seemingly the one Jerry will want to play next. Maybe him to play the one frozen thereafter, but the immediate cue ball is not natural because it has a relatively big cut between itself, the cue ball, and the yellow. He may have to play now. Going for history is Jerry. Of course, he has beaten Caesar a few times, maybe more than enough times, but there is one thing that no player has done: beat Caesar in a money match in Kenya. Dog City tried. All Kenya's better players tried with headsets. Aiden tried 3 times with no success. Maybe if one player could do so, maybe this is the guy. Having to play now yellow. Bounce the cue ball off the top cushion with the right spin. The cue ball moves bottomwards, exactly where the frozen yellow is. Nice cueing, most especially under the vein of pressure that both players are. Of course, the best player is the one that plays their best game despite the pressure. Jerry has played the cue ball into the red. That was so close to a snooker. He has a very deep breath. Of course, knowing what exactly he has just survived, and also knowing what exactly he's on the verge of achieving. He will want to play the last yellow to the corner pocket, bottom left, cue ball to bounce off the left cushion, then move rightwards. He wants to put back to the side pocket, bottom, just like that. 8 shots played awesomely. After the dry break from Caesar, the bulldozer equalizes again. Jeremiah Naido, 19. Caesar Chandiga, 19. Ladies and gentlemen, for $5,000 with 3 frames left, it is a race to 2. How good can Jerry break? This is the second last time in the match that he will be breaking. He gets to put 1 red. The white is safe. A yellow in and another red. And the table is open. And the chance now comes for Jerry to take the lead at the business end of the match, with him having all in mind the history of so many matches he has played against Caesar in so many cities, in so many countries. In Kampala, in Uganda, now in Nairobi, in Kenya. They played in Dar es Salaam, in Tanzania. They played in Bulawayo, in Zimbabwe. They played in Johannesburg, in South Africa, in Durban, in South Africa, as well as Cape Town, in South Africa, with Jerry having the lion's share of victories. This one will be the most important of them all because of the distance traveled, the fact that the venue is neutral, but also for the fact that he will be attempting to rewrite history after seeing Caesar never having lost in a money match on Kenyan soil. Caesar pretty much the home player as a member of the Mchana family. Jerry against Caesar and against the fans, who will majority be Caesar fans. But he has so far been doing well enough to show that he can overcome the pressure. He now gets to close the table. The bulldozer is on yellows. I don't even think it was perfectly the right decision to play the yellows. But of course, they are finishable. After all, he's Africa's potting machine. He got himself almost snookered, had the cue ball moved 1 centimeter more. The few fans he has are already having some little hand claps. They know that this one is likely to be the bulldozer's lead taking frame. Highly likely it is of the 2 players, Caesar, that will need to win the last 2 frames or else succumb to defeat to the same suspect yet again. With him, Jerry now needing to put 2 yellows to the corresponding corner pockets, left bottom and left top. Black maybe to the corner pocket, left top. The same corner pocket he wants to put the yellow, with the cue ball having to be played with top spin to be bounced off the cushion a little to move in a position where you can put black to the same corner pocket, just like that. The rest is a formality. Jeremiah Naido 20, Chandiga Caesar 19. Thank you, Africa, for giving us all the attention. With way over 2,500 watching from Channel Pool Club and way over 4,200 watching from Break and Finch Live Facebook, this match is now the second most watched in the history of African pool, at least. Coming to the second last frame, it can only be the second last if it is won by Caesar. But the Scorpion has broken dry. The chance has gone to the Bulldozer to take away the frame, to win a second consecutive frame with one visit of the table, this time round by Red Apple, by Reverse Dish, to record a 21st, but most important of them of all, to record 5,000 US dollars in the bag. With the table open, with the chance perhaps to play the yellows, also perhaps the chance to play the reds. Just my opinion that the reds may be positioned a little better because of the two reds packed at the corner pocket near the bottom left. There is as well a yellow that is suspiciously packed at the corner pocket top right, where there is the black. It is the reason as to why Jerry may put and go for the yellows instead. The Bulldozer plays as though he's listening to the commentator and closes the table. Dear viewers, Jerry's for the yellows, for the victory, for 5,000 US dollars, for redemption, for the record to beat Caesar in a money match on Kenyan soil for the first ever time. Here he comes with redemption in mind, with money to consider for himself, for Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, for South Africa, also for Big Kells, representing three countries all at the same time. The country of his birth, India; the country of his citizenship, South Africa; the country of his sponsorship, Nigeria. On the yellows, 5 of them they are, now 4. 2 of them so close to each other, near the side pocket bottom. One of them, in relation to the cue ball, snookered, a little snookered behind the black. Maybe he can have sight of it. The yellow that is packed at the corner pocket, top right. As he puts it, bounces the cue ball, avoids contact with the black. Pinpoint accuracy from the giant South African. His fans are already celebrating the victory that they consider to already have come. Taking on the guy that came thinking about him right from Bolton, playing in the Ultimate Pool Championships, to Nairobi via Entebbe in Uganda. The Bulldozer with now just 2 yellows and the black. He may want to put both yellows, I will think, to either the same center pockets or corresponding center pockets, top and bottom. He's going for the same center pocket with a backspin, just like that. The pot of the last yellow, with minimum power balance and maximum precision, gives to the Bulldozer pretty much accurate white for the black, which you will as well want to put to the corner pocket at the top right of the table. Jerry versus the most important shot of the match, which is the easiest of them all. The match will be won. Celebrate if you are in Durban, in Johannesburg, in Lagos, but now in Nairobi. Yet again, dear viewers, Jeremiah defeats Caesar. This time round, defeating Caesar for the very first time of any African player in the country of Kenya. He will be congratulated by Big Kells. Final score, Jeremiah Naido 21 and Caesar Chandiga 19. Jerry.
I'm passing the mic. Just around here. Yeah. Just close to the table. Jerry.
Jerry, You've defeated Caesar a few times, but this time was really special. What really happened, first of all, to your breaks, especially towards the end of the match?
Yeah, man, you know, my breaks were so terrible the whole match. And then when Caesar took a timeout at 18-19, I went outside and I got some advice from Ishmael and Kels that I should change the break. So I told myself I'm going to break from the other side. And then when I got my chance, I broke from the other side. I was able to make 2 clearances and 1 apple. So that was the best way to win for me, by giving him no chance. From 18-19, no chance. Yeah.
You have 2 pieces of history. First of all, you are the player with the most wins against Caesar. You have also become the first player in a money match to beat Caesar here in Kenya. What is so special about the jury of today? Can we now say you are Africa 1?
Well, the fans can speak for themselves, and I'm sure the results are there now. Yeah, but yeah, I'm happy. I made some mistakes today, but I'm happy I held it together in the end when I needed to. When it really counted, that's when I brought my A game. So I'm proud of myself. Yeah.
Now, I know you have a flight tomorrow. If Caesar asks for a rematch, would you cancel your flight and then give him a rematch another day?
Well, if he can book a new flight for me on his expense, no problem. But as I said, my flight is booked. If not, then we'll play South Africa. Anytime I'm ready.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Jeremiah Naido defeats Caesar Chandika again. I wish you a very good rest of the evening, and may the Almighty God bless you. Here comes Big Kels. He'll want to say something to you.
For me, this game wasn't about the money. I needed Jerry to win because I believe this is a start of something new. And I told Jerry we're going to explore so many things. Caesar is a good friend. I love what Akim is doing for him. And I hope I can start doing something like that for Jerry. He's a very good player, both on the hair ball and on the small ball.
Do you consider your player Africa 1 now?
I wouldn't want to say Africa 1. Jerry is good, Caesar is good, Aiden is good. All I can say is that the 3 best players now. So I'm not going to say Jerry is Africa 1 because Caesar on the good day could have won this. The game could have gone anyways. So all I'm trying to say here is let's look out for something new for Jerry, because this is going to be something new on pool and on Hable. I've got big plans for this guy. I think it's now we start doing something. And I order the big guys as well to see how we can do to keep pushing this game in Africa. Even my guys in Nigeria, Shehu, Bantiki, let's help them collectively push the game.
The entire Big Kels family.
The entire Big Kels family. We just want to come with something different. And the goal is to push each other, compete, not to be each other's enemies in the game, but to compete and see how we can push each other.
See how we can push each other, improve as a family.
Yeah. So well done, Caesar. Well done, Akim. Nice game.
You really have a very good start in pool. I wish you success with Jerry. For now, enjoy your win. Just give them for a few seconds to enjoy the comments.
Let them enjoy the moment and also read the comments.
Okay, we are leaving the stream on for the next 1 minute so that you can enjoy. But it can be now. Just congratulations, Jerry. Hopefully he does give a rematch to Caesar, maybe Tuesday, just so that we can have more of this. I know that Caesar will have something a little bit left to be desired. Yeah, good night, guys. Let me download. Okay, the South Africans are putting the gun and switch off.